Karamveer Lalh is a former political staffer with the Conservative Party of Canada and the United Conservative Party right here in Alberta. He's currently a lawyer practicing in Edmonton and a political commentator. You've likely read his work at thehub.ca. This rate hike for the average Canadian, pretty significant, because anybody working on variable rates, anybody with a line of credit, anybody whose cost of borrowing fluctuates every time the Bank of Canada makes an announcement has felt this pinch.
Well, certainly my student loans from, going to law school, those are on a variable rate. So I certainly felt it personally. Whenever there's a rate hike, folks generally will feel it because most folks do carry, some sort of debt, be that, a mortgage, be there that student loans like myself. Rate hikes do generally impact everyone.
Pierre Poilievre has I think established pretty quickly that one of his big foundational points of trying to get elected the next federal election is going to be talking about the cost of living. He's going to be talking about affordable housing. He's going to be talking about how a lot of Canadians are feeling like they're left behind.
I don't necessarily think it'll backfire just because the Bank of Canada is like a fairly easy target, right? But just because it's an easy target doesn't make it, good for politicians to go after them. I think with Pierre Poilievre, he didn't talk a lot about whether or not he had any problems with the Bank of Canada's policy itself. So that policy, of course, is set by Parliament. Parliament dictates to the Bank of Canada, okay, we need to keep inflation between 1% and 3% every year. Pierre Poilievre, of course, saw that inflation was going up higher out of that band. And then his criticism was, well, Bank of Canada governor, Bank of Canada leadership, Parliament has sort of set this target for you. You're not hitting it. And therefore, you should be punished, I guess, lose your job, etc. That is different than, the current criticism, which is, Canadians don't want to see rate hikes. Well, one of them is saying that, hey, you should be, punished for not doing your job properly. The other one is saying, we don't want you to do your job properly.
What do you make of the subtle makeover for Pierre Poilievre? He's lost the glasses. They've got him in like the white T-shirts and the kind of casual blazers.
Image is important in politics, regardless of whether or not we like to openly say so. I think Poilievre had a bit of an issue that he kind of came off as sort of like your debate club nerd type fellow,
kind of smarmy.
Hero. Yeah, exactly. Losing the glasses, changing the haircut is an effort to, tweak those criticisms and make himself, more attractive to certain, voters. Time will tell if that was effective or not.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is that it just comes off as genuine.
You talk about how the leader of Canada's Conservatives should embrace what you describe as optimistic conservatism for solutions. What would be an example of that? What's a direction you'd like to see the Conservative Party go under Poilievre's leadership that you think would really resonate with Canadians?
Canadians in general want to see that their politicians are actually, doing something. Cost of living is one. Climate change is another. The suggestion that I made is I think that if you as a federal government want to invest heavily in renewable energy and nuclear energy, that would be seen by Canadians as actually, doing something proactive to address the problem. I don't necessarily know has the emotional, saliency as building like a big nation building project. Because at the end of the day, you're talking about, okay, we're going to impose this tax on carbon. It's going to increase the cost of living for a certain subset of consumers. What's the purpose of it? Like global warming continues every year. Every year, the average temperature is higher. Canadians want to see, hey, the world is suffering and, my pocketbook is suffering. What are we doing actually to, solve those problems? If the Conservatives can put forward a proactive solution and be seen as actually doing something material and meaningful on those big issues that Canadians care about, then I think that they would be better positioned for success in the next election.